Earlier this year, singer Iggy Azalea was complaining about how whenever she does crowd surfing, people sexually assault her and she feels extremely violated. Well, Aaron Lewis, who is in the band Stained, addressed this issue during a recent performance. They were performing at the Rockfest music festival in Kansas City, and apparently there was a very young girl who was crowd surfing. He thinks that she was about 15 years old, and she was being sexually assaulted while she was doing so. Here's his response to that.
All right, listen up, you fucking assholes. That fucking girl right there is like 15 fucking years old, and you fucking pieces of shit are molesting her while she's on the fucking crowd. Your fucking mothers should be ashamed of themselves, you pieces of shit. You should all be fucking beaten down by everyone around you for being fucking pieces of shit. If I fucking see that shit again, I swear to God, I will point you out in the crowd and have everyone around you beat your fucking ass.
I was amused by that video in a way I did not expect. Because when he first says, "Listen to me, you fucking assholes," the crowd's like, "Yeah! Yeah, dude, we're fucking assholes!" God, people are funny these days.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to explain why he's actually angry, which is great of him. I love that he did that, right? And then the crowd's like confused, like, yeah, what? Like there's like this awkward, like half, yeah. Wait, are we the assholes or are they the assholes?
Right.
And then he's like, I'll have everybody kick their ass. And then they get back into it like, yeah, we get to kick somebody's ass. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I like that he shamed the people that were doing the, sexual assaulting. I'm glad that he basically brought awareness to it. I don't know if I'm in agreement about inciting violence and talking about kicking people's asses, but again, it's really good to say, look, this is a type of behavior that's unacceptable. I'm not going to stand for it, and that's it.
There's a lot of ironies in this story.
Yeah.
We're pumped that he's inciting people to mass violence, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't, and they didn't kick anybody's ass.
Right.
But look, that's the thing. We talked about in the previous story that Anna mentioned. When somebody's crowd surfing, it doesn't give you a license to rip their clothes off or to stick your fingers in certain places. I mean, that singer that you mentioned earlier, she's talking about how and it was oftentimes women, which is interesting, would literally try to put their fingers inside her. I mean, it's so gross, I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
And this girl's 15, as the guy points out in the Stained concert. Come on, man, come on. And you know what that does? That ruins the fun for everybody.
Right.
Because the crowd surfing is supposed to be about like trusting everybody. Like you're all, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is. I think crowd surfing is a bad idea. That's not shifting the blame on the victims. Obviously, if someone does decide to do crowd surfing, that doesn't warrant any type of behavior like that. But I just would avoid it at any and all costs, because even if they're not trying to sexually assault you, you're crowd surfing. Hands are going to end up in places you're going to be super uncomfortable with. So try to avoid doing it. I mean, I just don't think it's a good idea, period.
I mean, look, man, it sounds fun, and you dive into the crowd, and then you go around. I don't know. There's some element of it being communal and great in some way, and I hate it when people screw it up. You know,
people always screw up those types of things.
Yeah, there was a guy on Reddit apparently that said that Lewis did this 2 years ago during an X-Fest concert too, when some guy tried to pull off the sweatpants from a young girl as she was crowd surfing. So I like that he's on it, right? And he's trying to correct it. And what he's also doing is to make sure that that a few bad apples don't spoil the fun for everybody else.
Right. Yeah, I think that that's the right way to do it, to definitely embarrass them and to call them out. And come on, shaming them in public like that, perfect. Just don't incite violence while you do it.